Welcome back, everybody. We're here again. It's been a week, but that's alright because we are coming with the best news today. You ready? Kyle? The Sony, Marvel, Sony-Verse, Villain-Verse, Spider-Man Villain-Verse is officially over. This is coming to us from the Wrap. Yep. They are no longer going to be working on villain spin-off films. Kraven the Hunter is the last one, which I've got a feeling now that they've said that Kraven's going to come out on Friday and be fucking awesome. Because it just seems like Sony likes to make the wrong turn whenever they can. But yeah, they're going to be focusing on Spider-Man 4, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and Spider-Man Noir, the Amazon TV show. Fair enough. You know, we've got so many fond memories of the Sony-Verse. In fact, we're going to play a quick in memoriam reel of all our favourite moments right now. Right, you enjoy that? That's how quick it was. But Kyle, just as about to speak to Kyle, he just
Lagging.
Yep. It's I just won't mention your name in future, and you could just. You hear? Yeah.
I can hear you. You can continue talking. I can still hear you. It's just you might see me freeze.
Yeah, you're just like a mile behind yourself just then. But Kyle, what were some of your favourite moments from the Sony Villain-Verse, and are you glad to see it gone? Because we've had some laughs. We've had some good times with these films. Let's not pretend it's all been doom and gloom.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. It was strange to get in the first place because it was very much we're not getting Spider-Man in these films. Like they kind of kept trying to tease that he'd show up in like Morbius and the Venom films, even like the directors and the trailers they showed.
They hadn't done it once with Kraven.
No, so I mean it was a weird time, I guess. I think Venom was definitely very much the birth of this, and
the Golden
Venom
Goose
wasn't
route.
as successful. Yeah, if Venom wasn't as successful as it was when it released, it made, was it 800 million?
I think so, yeah.
Which is really good. I don't think we would have had these other films come out. Now, this could have been done so much better if they decided to do what, obviously, Callum, we spoke about this many times before, and that is use Miles. Obviously, Peter is over in the MCU at the moment, but you could have just used Miles. And I think people would have been fine with that. You know, him interacting with these characters, it would have given us something new, something fresh, because, you know, we've seen Peter fight not all of these villains. It were mainly just Venom, really, but it definitely would have been something fresh, something new that we've not really seen much of before. Miles is a great character, and people are dying to see him on the big screen. Well, on live action, I should say, because he's been on the big screen in the Spider-Verse films. But yeah, there's not much else I can say. Like Morbius was a dumpster fire, but I had a little bit of fun with it going to the cinema. I think we both did.
Yeah.
We just laughed at the film and the marketing surrounding it.
I remember we went to see it with Wayne, and he just turned and looked at us, and he was like, because we didn't tell him going in about alt bad reviews and stuff like this. Is someone who's very much out of the loop. You know, they don't sit down, look at alt news that's coming in. They just go, yeah, we'll go see that, we'll go see that. And they come with us. And he looked at us both, and he just went, was I supposed to like that? Because that was shit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was hilarious as well where Sony actually released it because it was getting memed on so hard. They released it back into theaters and hyped it all up, and no one went to go see it. I think that was like one of the funniest cinematic box office phenomenons. I thought that was fucking hilarious. That being said, it wasn't, like you say, it's not all doom and gloom. The Venom films have been alright for the most part. You know, they're passable, I guess, they're watchable. They don't really have any consistency in quality. It's very just all over the place. Tom Hardy's great as Venom. The action were great. Venom as a character was fun to see in a film. But it's still one of those things where it's like, how the fuck did they do 3 Venom films and not feature anything related to Spider-Man? It's still crazy to me, but it can, I think it kind of does prove to me a little bit though that Venom can kind of carry his own,
Yeah.
way, especially with movies. But going forward, I don't think that's the best play for them to do. Madam Web.
Yeah, that's not even.
It's. I think it's supposed to be a film.
Did that come out this year? Or was it
I think
last
it
year?
was.
Or was it last year?
Might have been last year. Let me double check.
I thought it was at right beginning of this year.
We're near the start. Yeah, 2024.
February.
So yeah.
February 14th. That's what we did on
yeah.
Valentine's Day. Went to see Madam
Yeah.
Web. But do you know what? Sony had all these big plans for bringing in Null. All these guys, they're going to take on Null. And we kind of went into that or feeling it. So I'm not upset that these movies are done. I just wish these movies were done better in the first place. But I'm still
I don't think they were doing Null.
You don't?
I don't think they were doing anything to do with Null. I think Null was just there to, because I feel like they kind of knew that people are not asked about these films now. Like when it comes to the third Venom film, yeah, people are gonna go see it and it will make a bit of money, but it's to a point where it's like, oh, bring in Null and let's hype everyone up and get people into the cinemas. And it's like, they just chat shit. Like they say all this stuff, all these directors and producers, they say all this stuff, and they're hyping the movie up, and when the movie comes out, it's not as good as they sort of hype it. But
yeah.
Still,
though, after all that, I'm excited for Kraven on Friday. I already know what I'm getting myself into, and I know I'm gonna be let down. But I'm excited for Kraven.
Hopefully, it's at least watchable. If it's on the level of Venom,
Then that's
I
great.
will be happy. That's fine by me. But if it's anywhere near the level of Madam Web, which I don't think it will be, I think it's looking more like it'll be on the level of Morbius, to be honest.
Yeah, but this is terrible news to come out right before the film comes out.
Yeah.
Because it's like all them people who abandoned the DCEU, didn't bother going to watch The Flash, Shazam, Fury at Gods, Aquaman 2, Blue Beetle.
2.
It was like, what's the fucking point if this ain't going to continue?
Yeah, luckily Kraven though seems like it's going to be the last. It's sad because like there was rumors going around that they might do something Agent Venom, and I was like, okay, that's quite interesting, but
yeah,
I'm guessing that is definitely not going to happen now. If anything, maybe they might continue the Venom stuff. I don't know, but going forward with these other characters, they just need to, it was beating a dead horse at this point. They should have just not done it in the first place.
Yeah, so went from 2018 to 2024.
R.I.P. Sony-Verse. But I will say this, Callum. This definitely could have been done a lot better. If these villains were meant to sort of set up the Sinister Six and were meant to get this big finale in a Spider-Man film, and you've had all these great films, maybe you don't need 6 villain films to set up the Sinister Six. You could have maybe diced it down to maybe like 3, potentially 4 at a push, and just sort of, because you don't need to introduce Spider-Man in his own film. You can introduce a new villain in that.
Yeah.
I think they could have played this a lot smarter. They could have planned it out a lot better. There was a lot of potential there where they could have done something cinematically amazing, but unfortunately, like Sony does, they tend to fumble it quite a bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. Anyway, guys, let us know down below. Are you sad to see the Sony-Verse gone? Look, I'm up for a bit of competition every now and then, you know what I mean? Like, think how great it would have been if Sony were releasing great Marvel films and Marvel releasing great Marvel films at the same time. It'd have just been more and more. We've got to do better than them. You know what I mean? But because this is what the competition was, everyone was just going, nah, fuck it, at least we're better than Morbius. So, yeah, anyway. Moving on to the next topic. 28 years later. Wow. What a trailer. I watched this on my dinner break today, and just someone bobbed their head in my office and went, what the fuck were you just watching then? Because the noise and the soundtrack is just creepy as fuck when you're watching it. Because yeah, at Volume 1, I was just sat there watching it and I was like, what the fuck were you watching? Because it's like weird singing and all that. So I'm loving the vibes I'm getting from the trailer. Also, this looks like it's going to be a Last of Us style take child from point A to point B story. Which, hey, The Mandalorian, The Last of Us, now this. I'm a big fan of these taking these young defenseless children from point A to point B stories. For some reason, it just does it for me. But Kyle, what did you think of this trailer?
Can I just say, it very like when I first saw like the first image of this when I woke up this morning, I thought, oh cool, a new Kraven trailer. That's exactly what I thought. I mean, you look at this and you think, oh, it's another Kraven trailer or something, and I was like, okay, it's not. It's 28 years later, which we've heard a lot of things about. I think I briefly saw the first one years ago, but I think I was too creeped out. But I'm definitely going to go watch it again.
Yeah, here's a blast from past. I watched it on Film 4 when I was in high school, like year 7. And, there's like breaks between it and everything. And I watched it on Film 4 late at night and I just couldn't get to sleep.
It's from the vibes I got on it was very creepy, and this trailer is definitely very unsettling to watch. Even though it is just a trailer, it's just everything about it is like not jarring, but it's in the sense of like get me through this fucking trailer because it is creepy, but it looks good. Aaron Taylor-Johnson looks like he's having a bit of a blast with it. He's kind of he's doing bits, I think, and I'm really looking forward to what they do and how they can maybe expand this universe a little bit, because I feel like we've not seen much anything outside of just the first film. Zombies and things like that. Yeah, the zombies is definitely one of those things where it's like oversaturated, but this looks like it's got that zombie element of it, but it's really pushing the horror element.
There's no scarier than zombies that run, especially when you're fat like me. I look at Walking Dead zombies, right, and I think, right, they're not fast. I'm strong as shit. I could crack some skulls. I see them fast ones. I'm dead in 0.5 seconds, mate. I ain't climbing shit.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's same with like World War Z. I mean, that film has a lot of flaws, but I really enjoy it, and it is unsettling to see them type of zombies that are a lot more, speedy, and they've got a lot of speed to them. This is sort of a similar element to it. I'm really looking forward to this. I think I'm definitely going to be creeped out. I'm very excited to see your reaction to this film.
20th of June.
At the cinema. Yeah, you're going to be shitting your pants.
Mate, I know.
You're going to leave the cinema and it's just going to be a shit on the seat.
I'm very interested to see where we put this now when we do our, we're going to be doing some end of the year content, most anticipated films for next year and films we've enjoyed this year. I'm very interested to see where we both put this now, because this was on my radar, definitely. But after this trailer, it's like, oh, yes, this is going to be fucking awesome. So, guys, let us know down below what you thought of the trailer. Does it get you excited for this film? Does it make you less excited for the film? Do you think they should have just stayed with 28 days later? They shouldn't have even bothered doing 28 weeks or 28 years. So let us know what you think down below. And I'm going to burp real quick. No, I'm not. Maybe. It'll come out somewhere. Anyway, Kyle. Ryan Reynolds has done an actors on actors interview. There it was. Right. So Ryan Reynolds has done an actors on actors interview with Andrew Garfield. You know the one where they sit with another actor and they're just speaking.
No,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I've seen it a little bit. Yeah,
it's great. It's a good watch, good listen, good read, whatever you want to do. I can't read, so I had to watch it. But Ryan was talking about Deadpool. You know, he seems kind of very done with the idea of making Deadpool another Deadpool film. He says Deadpool's more like a supporting character, which, okay, don't get me wrong, I'd love another Deadpool movie, but if the only way we're going to get to see Deadpool now is being a supporting character, I'm okay with that too. And he did say, you know, where he would do it, he says, you know, watching Channing come up and do his thing with Gambit, I'd love to be like the fifth banana or fifth wheel in the Gambit movie. Now, a couple of assumptions with that. If the Gambit movie gets made, then sure, Deadpool can be in it. I don't have a problem with that. But the Gambit movie has to get made first. But Kyle, what are some of your thoughts on this? Like, you know, he don't really want to do another Deadpool movie, but if they did a Gambit movie, he'd definitely be in that Gambit movie. Do you think that's him maybe kind of pushing Marvel towards more of, if you want me again, make this Gambit movie? Or do you think he's genuinely saying that because he would be in a Gambit movie?
You kind of have to take a lot of things, even when actors come out and say things. You have to take it with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, not necessarily in this case, but a lot of cases, the actors don't ever have much control of the character. In this case, though, Ryan Reynolds does have a big say in this, and I think it would be. I'd love to see, and I agree with you, I'd love to see Deadpool on the big screen again in his own film, or if he's along with someone else. You know, if they do like a Deadpool and Gambit film, that'd be fucking awesome, or something like that.
Deadpool and Spider-Man. You know, people want to see that.
Yeah, Deadpool. Yeah, there's so many opportunities where they can do this now. Do you know what I mean? Because like people, you know, I wouldn't say they were done with having a trio of films. Do you know what I mean? A trilogy. I think it's a case of now it's just give us good content and give us good characters, and it doesn't matter if it's the second, third, fourth, or whatever. People will go see it, because you look at Deadpool and Wolverine, it's sort of like Deadpool 3, but at the same time, it's like
a new beginning.
It's like a sequel. Yeah, it's like a sequel to the X-Men films in a sense, and it does so many things right. I think just because they don't have a lot of time now because they've got Avengers films coming out, I think the likelihood of the Deadpool character showing up again is going to be forward in like the Avengers films. Obviously, he might pop up as a cameo or an Easter egg, not an Easter egg, sorry, as a post cameo or something like that. But really, I think with how much, I don't want to say Deadpool has saved Marvel, but you know, he has done some really good things for them. I think he's on the level of sort of like, you know, Tony. And Tony, you know, he had 3 Iron Man films, and he was then sort of like in a supportive role, I guess. But he was also sort of the main character. Yeah. I think that's the way you, yeah. Not the main character, but like in Civil War, he's like
the lead of the ensemble.
Steve Rogers. Yeah, it's Steve Rogers, but then there's Tony, and it's like, it's still Cap's film, obviously, but Tony's like the second.
He's the antagonist of the film.
I guess you could. Yeah. So I think that'd be interesting to do, in terms of sort of with that. If you know, they've done. I feel like they are done with the multiverse, so I don't feel like we're going to see like a multiversal kind of thing with Deadpool going forward now as well. But I definitely think he's more likely to show up in that Tony aspect, in that quantity, if that makes sense.
Yes,
he's not going to be the main character.
Yeah,
he's not going to be the main character. He's not going to be at the back end of it. He's going to be up there because, you know, Disney and Marvel, they both know Deadpool now brings in the money.
Deadpool with a combination of Wolverine definitely brings in the money. But yeah, look.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm saying if it were just Deadpool, he does also bring.
I think if we got a Deadpool 4 now, I think it'd hit $1 billion. If it was good. I think it'd hit $1 billion, no problem. Now, my other thing looking at this is, he's saying supporting roles and stuff like that. I do see him, not Doomsday, I do see him being in Avengers Secret Wars, but I think everybody knows the whole idea of Avengers Secret Wars is anyone who's had anything to do with Marvel will probably be in Avengers Secret Wars. That's like the ultimate plan. It depends on, obviously, how long they're in the film for. But, these statements are going kind of against what Kevin Feige's been saying lately. When Kevin Feige's been asked for about, what your plans with Deadpool and Wolverine, and he says, the plans aren't to rush anything, but it's to get them in wherever they can, and wherever they fit and stuff like that. And Ryan seems to be taking a bit of a backseat now. He's like, he don't seem to want to do it as much. Now I get it, he's just come off shooting for a year for this. He's there from start to finish. He's writing, producing. As soon as the first word goes down on that page, he's there until the last edit's made of the film. To the hit final cut. And then after that, he does all, probably helps him with the trailers and everything. So I can understand why you might want to take a back seat and be, a supporting character, because then he don't have to worry about that stuff. He knows he can show up, do his thing, and get the fuck out of there. But yeah, I really want Deadpool.
And that's not to say he still won't have any say in what Deadpool does in the film as a supporting character. He will probably write more of his lines or something like that.
Look at Infinity War and Endgame.
With how he sounds.
Infinity War and Endgame, James Gunn wrote every single word of the Guardians dialogue. Obviously, they were given right, here's a script, but how do you see the Guardians responding to these things here? So, James Gunn wrote all the Guardians dialogue in them films. I probably wouldn't be surprised as well if he did it for Fall of Thunder. But yeah, I definitely see Secret Wars. But it's kind of sad thinking we might not get Deadpool and Wolverine 2, which I think we want. I know I want it. But then again, I think back to, we've been in this situation before when Disney bought Marvel, and we was in that era of uncertainty, and we was like, oh, is this going to happen? Is it not? And then it did. It came back better than ever.
I would love for it to happen, but I don't think it will. I don't see how they can fit it.
I think if he gets an idea, no one's going to stop him.
If he gets an idea and it seems like it could work, then yeah, but I just don't see what they can do now, because it seems very like we're on the end of the road here for Marvel when it comes to the Avengers films, because they've got to kind of make sure everything leads into these Avengers films. I mean, look at Civil War. The whole film was basically to break apart the Avengers to help set up the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame scenario.
And now it seems like Endgame was to split up the Avengers again for Doomsday, because they haven't been together since then. But yeah, just going back to that though, do you think, the Gambit thing, do you think he's trying to get Gambit made a bit more as well?
Probably.
Because he mentions it every chance he gets at this point.
Yeah, I think it listen, he's not gonna not do that. I mean, he knows that Channing would put the effort in and help get this film made and be good and things like that. So I think if Channing Tatum wasn't all that interested and he didn't see that he was not all that bothered about it, then he probably wouldn't push it. But because people have been wanting this film for years as well anyways, I can see why he's pushing it.
And just think, right, he must mention, if you go back on our channel and look back, he posts something or mentions something like every month about Gambit, Channing Tatum, since Deadpool and Wolverine's come out. Deadpool and Wolverine came out in July. He has kept us talking about Gambit for half a year now, which is crazy. You know, so Kyle's about to get punched. So he's kept Gambit in the news cycle for well longer than it should have been. He's making sure people don't forget. What are you texting me, Kyle? What are you texting me?
No, I'm not.
What are you texting?
Just checking something.
I think I look nice today as well.
I didn't text you.
Oh, well,
Sorry.
that's what came through. Right, so guys, what do you think? Do you think we're going to get a Deadpool 4? Do you think we're going to get a Deadpool and Wolverine 2? Do you think Ryan's just going to be a supporting role now? Do you think we might see him in a Gambit movie if it gets made? Let us know down below. Best thing about when I cut these videos out is, you know, if you're watching the full show, you get the burp breaks. But when you're not, I can just go. So Chris Evans is officially cast in Avengers Doomsday alongside Robert Downey Jr. Now, apparently, you know, this is coming to us from the Wrap. They're not sure who he's going to be playing. Now, you know, obviously, Chris Evans has made his MCU return already as the Human Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine. And I kind of get why they want to get this out there now, because they're going to start shooting next year pretty soon. So they don't, you know, if it's quite a sizable role, they're not going to be able to keep it under wraps. So, alright, Chris Evans is in it. You know, now there's a few people he could be playing. There's one, Steve Rogers, Captain America, which I think everyone wants to see him as. Human Torch again. I don't think he'll be Human Torch. He's done that now. He's dipped his toes back into that like he wanted. I think he's satisfied. A lot of people are saying the Beyonder. I don't think he'll be the Beyonder. What I do think he will be is, let's take it back again. I think he's going to be Hydra Cap alongside Doctor Doom. I think that just makes the most sense. I do think we are going to get a Steve Rogers Captain America, but that'll be in Avengers Secret Wars. I think the one in Doomsday is going to be Hydra Cap. And we already know, you know, from this press release as well, that Anthony Mackie's going to be in Avengers Doomsday, but we already knew that anyway. I would love to see Mackie's Cap go up against this Hydra Cap, but obviously Chris Evans' version of Cap. I think that'd be pretty awesome to see.
I just want to say here, because I do like that idea, and I think that's like the first one that really does come to mind. But for me personally, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, ooh, okay, that'd be good. That'd be pretty sweet. That is, listen, Doomsday. He's definitely, you know, they want to push that. I think they're going to want to push that this is not a variant of Iron Man or Tony Stark. This is Doom. This is Doctor Doom in full glory. He's going to have a cape, a mask.
Do you know, before you say anything else, can I just say something? I read something on Reddit today, and Tony Stark isn't, you know, he's like the only one. You know, Stark's a variant of Doom, not Doom being a variant of Stark, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So Tony Stark's the outlier. Everywhere else, it's Victor Von Doom in that universe.
Yeah, and I think, for me personally, I think this would be such a surprising and a big twist, because, I mean, look, we've got a big twist where it's like, Doom is, you know, he's played by Robert Downey Jr. That is a massive twist in itself.
Yeah.
But then how could you do a twist with the Captain America, with Steve Rogers, Chris Evans? How could you do it there? Why not do the superior Iron Man? I mean, that'd be, yeah.
I don't want to see that.
Now, no, because you think about it. Just think about it, right? This is just some things that's playing in my head. You view this character, you view Chris Evans, when you look at him in, you know, in the Avengers film, you're going to think, oh, he's like the good guy, the nice guy that we all know. And we know that Chris Evans is a fantastic actor, and he can really bring down that sort of like not so great side, that portrayal of him. Imagine him being like an evil version of Iron Man, and like you say, when he goes up against then Sam's Captain America, it'd be sort of like a Iron Man versus Cap sort of like kind of thing again, and it would, I don't think they're going to do Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man. I think that's now dead in the water for me. I don't see them doing that because it's going to be way too much for just something so small. If they were going to do it, they should have done it previously. But in this case, if you're going to bring Chris Evans back and you're going to do something new and fresh and surprise people, I think that's probably the best way they can do it, is make him the Superior Iron Man. It will just sort of like, it'll have, because, even in this, they're from different universes or whatever, they probably won't still get along. You know what I mean? They'll be working together, maybe, Doom and Superior Iron Man, but I can't imagine they'd get along well. And it's sort of like how they are as heroes, as Cap and Iron Man. They didn't get along too well, but they worked together. The more I think about this idea, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
Now,
this works.
That'd be surprising, but I feel like that'd be surprising just for the sake of being surprising. I'd love like a very similar shot of Infinity War. You know when he comes out of the shadow after he catches Proxima Midnight Spear, when she throws it at him, and he just moves to the side and catches it. I would love a, like in the shadows, Sam's fighting in somewhere, and boom, the shield goes in to like a dark room or something. Don't come back out, and you see someone walking up, silhouette of Chris Evans, Captain America, fitting the shield on, and he's just looking, and he sees him. He's like, Steve, and then he fucking flings it back at him, and it's fucking. I'm just fanboying, and like, this is why we aren't writers. This is why we aren't writers, right, guys?
Yeah, but I like your idea, but for me, I just think it wouldn't be a surprise thing, because like I said, I can think of loads of things in my head where it's like, this kind of works, it's almost like mirroring what they have done already, and it's kind of like you've got these heroes and now you're seeing like the villain version of them kind of thing,
well,
and
maybe
I think
we're going to
it's
see
so
like a
refreshing to do.
evil Avengers, because just coming into this as well, Benedict Cumberbatch has confirmed that, yeah, he's definitely going to be in it. He's shooting next year. Maybe we see, we've seen many of them at this point, but like another evil Doctor Strange, Hydra Cap, Victor Von Doom, I don't know, I just feel like a Hydra Cap would be pretty cool. And I also think Hydra Cap would have been on the table anyway for Avengers Kang Dynasty. I feel like it is someone who Kang would have got in his ranks.
I mean, as far as I'm looking at it, it just doesn't seem like Hydra Cap. As far as I'm aware, he's just basically Hydra Cap. It seems
it's
like...
It's Cap who went back. Red Skull did something with the Tesseract, went back in time or some bollocks and changed events, and then made him Hydra Cap. But I kind of see him having a version of Steve, but maybe Doom's the one who played with time a little bit to make this version of Hydra Cap, which is loyal to him in maybe some sort of way.
No, I get that. I just don't think it for me personally, I don't like. I'm not saying the Captain America character isn't valuable, but it seems like it makes a little bit more sense to have sort of like a superior Iron Man there, because you've got someone who is intelligent and you've got someone who's, is able to fight and he's able to sort of do all these amazing things, and it's like, Doom might find him more valuable in that aspect of like, I need someone with intelligence there.
To me, at that point though, it's just getting to the point of just mashing your figures together, and like if I got my hot toy right now and went back there and put a Chris Evans Captain America head sculpt on one of my Iron Men, and we're like, that's what it kind of feels like to me.
Fair enough, but to me, it definitely doesn't. It doesn't feel that way. It's a more of like, it feels very predictable that they do something like that. Like you're saying, like you'd be sat there in the cinema, the silhouette of Cap, and you think it's going to be him, and it's like, you would kind of know that. Whereas, like, you look what they've already done. They've announced RDJ as Doom. No one fucking saw that coming. That was just, like, out of the blue. And this is definitely something that is kind of one of those things where it's like, it's new, it's fresh, and it's like, when you first think of it, it's like, this is stupid, but we thought that about Doom. I'm just saying, I like your idea,
I think,
but he's a little predictable.
I think Hydra Cap's the most likely, but I think him being the Beyonder is more likely than your idea.
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna cast someone for the Beyonder.
And maybe
I think they'll
Doomsday.
cast someone out.
Doomsday is about Doom getting the Beyonder's power, and maybe the Beyonder ends up in, the mainline Marvel universe, and it's like, all right, I need to make my final stand here, and then our Avengers protect this Beyonder, and he, whichever universe he goes to, he uses a friendly face that people like, and everybody loves Captain America, so he just mimics him.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we both have good ideas. Like I said, I think
I've got good ideas.
Yeah, I think with yours though, I get what you're saying, but I do find it a little too predictable, and it's. I know you're saying I feel like my idea would be for the sake of just being surprising, but I can think of loads of great scenarios where you have Doom and this version of Iron Man, and you've still got your two main
but I'd say for that I'm assuming there's going to be a really good narrative reason behind Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Doctor Doom. I'm assuming. What would be the narrative reason behind putting Chris Evans in the superior Iron Man costume just for the sake of going, look, it's Iron Man as Captain America?
Well, no, you wouldn't need to do that because people wanted superior Iron Man for years, and like I say, I don't think we're gonna see Tom Cruise show up in that role. If anyone's gonna show up in that role, it'd be Tom Cruise, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So, don't do the predictable thing of make it just a variant of RDJ, RDJ's Tony. Do something where you can sort of introduce Chris Evans back in, and I like your Beyonder idea, I do, and I think the Hydra thing as well is fun. But again, for me, as a fan sitting there in the cinema, I'd just be sat there and I'd be like waiting for him to show up as Hydra Cap. That's just how I kind of view it, and I get what you're saying. You feel like it'd be like for the sake of having a surprise, and I get that, but we said that about Doom.
Now, do you think, let's say they did go the Hydra Cap route though, would you be annoyed about that, or would you, obviously have to wait and see how it's done? Because I feel like the Russo brothers could do it well.
I think they could do it well, but the only issue I have is like Hydra Cap doesn't. It feels like it should be in like a Captain America film rather than it being sort of like a big Avengers film. It doesn't. I don't see Hydra Cap fitting in and making a dent into this Avengers film. If it was a Captain America film, let's say Captain America 5, for example, and for some reason they're still doing multiverse stuff by then I'd be like, fuck yeah, put Hydra Cap in it. Let's do that. I'm not too arsed about seeing Hydra Cap in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars for that matter. I would much rather them flesh that character out more.
And, me going back to it, I was like, I think Hydra Cap's the most likely. When I give my Beyonder idea, I kind of think the Beyonder's more likely now.
Yeah. I mean, we won't know till we see the film. I don't even think we'll know until we actually see the film. I don't think there's going to be anything announced or
we'll probably be seeing a trailer for it like this time next year. It was about this time in 2018 when the first trailer came out for Endgame, same year before 2017 for Infinity War. Do you remember I said to you, don't fucking watch it, I'm coming up to your house. 2017, got all the way up to Kyle's house. He's really far from me as well, and we were sat there fucking we just watched it over and over again.
Yeah, so I think there is some good ideas there. They might do something. They might not do any of our ideas that we've had, but they might surprise us in another way. But yeah, that's where I sort of like see them going different and
Yeah.
doing something weird with it. And
Do you know what? Maybe we just need to apply Occam's razor to this. Maybe he's just Captain America.
yeah,
Maybe he's just Captain America. So, sometimes the simplest solution or the simplest answer is the correct answer. Maybe he's just Captain America, which I wouldn't be opposed to either.
What if he's like I think if they do Hydra Cap, they'd have to like make him unbelievably powerful because I think they do it in a way where it's like he's got the stones and he's the one trusted to go back in time and drop the stones off and make sure everything's corrected like at the the end of Endgame, but instead he's got these stones now.
Yeah.
He's the most powerful being in the universe. That's an interesting way they can do Hydra Cap.
I know an even more interesting way they could do Hydra Cap. So let's say Chris Evans is in this as Cap, just normal Cap, and then out comes Hydra Cap, Anthony Mackie, a variant of Anthony Mackie's Cap. Nobody would be expecting that. Don't me.
I don't know. I feel like that's way too. Like, I don't want to take away Anthony Mackie, Sam Wills. I don't want to take his mantle of Captain America. That'd just, for me, that'd just take it off of him.
No, and I don't think they're gonna
too soon.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
I think they do fully intend to have Mackie as Cap for throughout these Avengers films. Yeah, there's gonna be legacy characters there as well, but also in Hawkeye, Clint is Hawkeye, Kate is Hawkeye. It's just they just both go by Hawkeye, which is fair enough.
I mean, yeah, we never know. I mean, that they're not afraid to sort of like go back and change things and use multiverse, versions of characters. They did it with Wolverine, and people were fine with it as long as they tread carefully, which they will. I think they'll be absolutely fine.
They've had it in comics as well, where they've both been Cap at the same time, so it's not an issue.
Yeah.
Right, guys, let us know. Do you think it's a good idea to bring Chris Evans back? Obviously, I managed to do a Captain America topic and say I'm not the biggest Captain America fan in the world, which I usually say at the beginning of every Captain America topic, but still, I am. So yeah. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Kyle, do you think it's a good idea?
Depends what they do with it.
Does depend on what they do with it, especially if they do that superior Iron Man thing. Fuck me, I'd be walking straight out.
Yeah, I'd be kind of yawning seeing Hydra Cap show up.
Right, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. We didn't think we'd actually be filming this week because it's been so dry and boring, and I woke up this morning and I was like, all this stuff to talk about.
Mark.
So yeah, right. See you later.